Brian Lewis, New York Post. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Going off script, then, what kind of expectations? Obviously, at the end of last year, there was a lot of talk about essentially trying to merge three teams into one and not having a training camp. Now that Jacques finally has an opportunity to get his hands on you guys and have a training camp, and you're all one team, what kind of expectations do you guys have for this season?
I don't think we, as a group, we know our ceiling. Knowing that we don't have our picks, obviously we're not going to tank. No team that's trying to be competitive wants to be in the play-in. So I would say just by process of elimination, that's where you want to start. And as high as we can take it, we want to take it.
Evan Barnes, Newsday. Spencer, Ben's back. Ben's healthy. One, what have you seen from him that excites you about what he can be? And two, Jock told us last week about how he can envision you playing more off ball with Ben. How do you see yourself playing along Ben?
I mean, I think this team goes as far as Ben and Mikal take it. You know, we know who Ben can be when he's healthy and right and in a good space, and that's what we hope for, obviously, because to be the best possible team we can be, we need that. And then for me, I mean, I've always just been a guy that they put in various spots. They tell me to do certain things, and I do them.
Peter Splendorio, New York Daily News. To kind of build off that last point, just, you know, you've obviously had a lot of success as a scorer in this league. How do you kind of envision your role on this specific team, and what do you kind of hope to achieve this year?
Me personally, what I hope to achieve? Shit, I don't know. Nah, for real. I mean, like every year it's the same goal and objective, right? Like I try to help the team win as many games as possible. And like I said, I've wore a bunch of different hats. You know what I'm saying? Whether it's be the older guy, keep the guys together, try to get 9+ assists a game. All right, cool. Or like, hey, be an isolation scorer. Hey, close the games. Hey, average 20. Average do this, do that. Like, whatever it is. So, shoot, even down to I think last year I led the league in left corner catching threes, right? Like, catch shoot threes. Sorry. It's just whatever. So, role delegation and all that stuff probably starts tomorrow for real. But I'm ready and prepared for all of it. I think probably one of the only guys in the league that can do all of it.
Spencer, Jake Fisher with Yahoo Sports. There's been a lot of guys talking today about culture and, you know, we're long and switchable on defense. We're going to get out in transition. It sounds really similar to the teams that you were first a part of here. Do you see that similarity on this group compared to, you know, the superstar-laden teams that were here in between?
I think we're more talented than my early teams. Obviously a little bit older too. You know, when we were kind of young and scrappy, I mean, we were all like 24. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we're young in terms of our depth, but the people that are going to play, you know, are 30, 27, 28, stuff like that. So we're in a winning position, not necessarily obviously championship position like we were with the superstars, so it's somewhere in the middle. But we definitely have a lot of youth in terms of our depth, and I think something to, like you said, build culture and watch guys grow.
Hey, Spencer, right in the middle, Mike Scott from Hoomsnap. Good to see you again.
A big dog.
My man, appreciate you. Wanted to ask you, you know, you were high on Nick Claxton probably before a lot of other people, and he just got up here and was saying, you know, felt like he kind of got robbed a little bit when in the whole Defensive Player of the Year conversation. Obviously, it's a contract year for him. I'm curious, what are you expecting out of him this year in such a big year for him and for the team? What he needs to bring to the team?
Yeah, no, I was first on the Nick Claxton train for sure, and took some bullets from y'all for that. By the way, y'all flamed me for it. Don't think I forgot. I get flamed for a lot of stuff actually, unfairly, because once it unfolds, I tend to be correct. Just saying. For Nick, I mean, he's in a beautiful position, right? 24. You still got probably 10 years of basketball ahead of him. So really it's going to be a situation where he just got to do his job. He going to get $100 million just from doing his job. He in a situation where even if he hits the bed, he's still going to get like $70, $80 million. The only way he really f***s up his contract is if he tries to do too much. You know what I'm saying? Because you do that and you try like, oh, I'm going to go score 20 or something like that. And they'll say like, oh, he doesn't know his role, blah, 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 and they'll blackball you or something. So he's fine. His head's on right. He spent the entire time in LA training. Like, he's going to be good. And the more that we can call attention to him getting snubbed last year for DPOY, the more it's on the forefront of you guys' minds and voters and stuff. And you got to make it a national campaign now. You got to make it sexy. You feel me? So, you know, y'all need to all write this. Spencer Dinwiddie said Nick Claxton is the best defender in the league, and he got snubbed for DPOY. And let's start the controversy now. Come on. Write it. Tweet it. Let's do it.
Eric Slater, Clutch Points. You found success in Dallas alongside Luka playing a heavier off-ball role. I think you were over 40% from three with those seasons you were there. Is there any excitement on your end about getting to do that potentially more if Ben's healthy and handling the ball here?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, again, it gives people less opportunity to get on my ass about stuff. I mean, historically speaking, the one thing that I haven't done well in this league is shoot off the dribble, contested, late clock, and or dire situation threes, which, to be fair, nobody does. You feel what I'm saying? So before Luka, I was still a good catch and shoot 3-point shooter. It was something that Kenny talked about a lot, right? Now, when I was with Luka, and I mean, this is a no-brainer. He's a top, 5 player in the world. He's an all-world guy. He draws so much attention. Our offense was based around getting catch and shoot threes for the other guys on the team while he was in the game, obviously. So, you know, it just, like, as you know, right, if a higher percentage of your shots are easy ones and a lower percentage are harder ones, then your overall percentage rises, right? And if it goes the other direction, then your overall percentage drops. I don't even think I necessarily shot bad catch and shoot threes here last year either. It's just most of my threes ended up being late clock, confusion, in the game. Maybe it was foul, maybe it wasn't, 2 people on them, blah, blah, in which case I didn't shoot well. But again, like I said, there's only 2 dudes in the league that make those, Steph and Dame. Everybody else, Luka, Trae Young, whoever else you want to name, doesn't shoot those well either.
Spencer, Charlotte Wilder, Meadowlark Media. You, as a Colorado alum, have you been watching what's going on over there with the football team, and have you been in touch with anybody or Coach Prime or?
Oh, 1,000%. This shit is dope. What? You gotta remember, man. I sat through 1 game seasons, man. Like ridiculed. Ain't nobody talking about us. Now we rolling. It's nice to be a part of. Just the energy, the optimism. I was back for the Nebraska game, and I also was back a couple of days ago for the SC game too. So, you know, I go back a couple of times. I got a chance to speak to Prime. Yeah, it's just the energy, the excitement. I think, you know, as he says, we coming.
Samir Kumar, News 12. Spencer, you've been here in Brooklyn for a while now. Obviously, this is your second stint here. So what about Brooklyn, the city itself, makes it feel like home for you?
See, I mean, the familiarity. Basically, through my basketball career, I grew up here. A lot of different phases and versions of Spencer that have lived here, right? So now when I hit Juliana's, for example, there's a bit of nostalgia. Hey, listen, bro, I reference it because it's one of my cheat meals. I try to tell y'all, like I don't do it too often, but so you think about all those different pieces. Like when I was here, I ain't had no kids. You know what I'm saying? Like now I have a son. It's just life changes, you know.
Sheree Phillips Keaton, Nets Wire. Spencer, you talked about wearing different hats, especially even last season. What hat, to use your word, do you expect to wear for this season?
I do not know yet. We'll probably find out tomorrow. I think. Yeah, why not give y'all some clickbait? I think the wonderful thing about having me on a roster is the fact that there's so many hats you can choose from. Which one do you want? You want top 10 ISOs? You want game winners? You want the passing guy, 4-to-1 assist turnover ratio, 9 assists, blah, blah. You want all those things? You pick one, you tell me, and then I go do it.
Spencer, Lucas Kaplan, Nets Daily. You guys were exactly league average in defensive rating after the trade deadline. One, how, I guess, impressive with that is that to you with the way the team was thrown together on the fly? And two, what will a full training camp, time to prepare, do for your defense?
I mean, again, the full training camp, the roles, all the stuff that, we continue to talk about, it does wonders for both sides of the ball. It's just, when you're in sync and there's no confusion, it takes out that moment of second guessing, which the NBA moves too fast. If you have to think twice, you probably miss the play. That's just the way it goes. So we're hoping that we can be on the same page and be in sync. And obviously with the defenders that we have out there, whether it's, Ben, Mikal, Nick, Doe, Royce, who traditionally throughout their career are, A-level defenders, that's 5 of your, top 9 guys, right, that are going to be in the rotation that are pretty big-time defenders, and usually teams don't have that. So, it's definitely a cause for optimism.
You talked about kind of figuring out what your role will be in the coming days, and you also talked about how young you were when you got here the first time.
Yeah.
You, Karras, J.A., all these guys.
Yeah.
But that team had duds. It had Ed.
Mm-hmm.
Who is the veteran presence on this team? And seeing as how you were the oldest on the roster,
Yeah.
by default, does that mean you'll have to take up that mantle?
I think the difference between like Duds and DC at the time, less so DC, but more so Duds, like we were cooking him. You know what I'm saying? So like he's a vet verbally. You feel me? Can't nobody on this team guard me. So it's like I still be cooking these boys. I just happen to be 30. But I feel like Duds was like 30. Yeah, he was like 34. Yeah, so like 34 and back, like the next 4 or 5 years, basketball-wise, like, yeah, I'll start being washed probably like 35. But like, Duds was like 35 off a back injury and stuff. Like that's dicey work. Like that's not good business. You feel me? He already wasn't athletic. It's the truth. I'm just saying, if your prime till 32, 33, if you eat right, I'm in my prime. I just happen to be the oldest. So, but with that being said, I mean, for the young guys more so, I preach routine because I think that's what allowed me to be in the league from on the court, off the court, in the weight room, diet, treatment, whatever, like sticking to what routine you can build and have that's repeatable. For the guys that are going to play, I mean, that's more so, they're in my age group. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be real here. Like, we the youth that we have is all the bench guys. Like, Doe ain't young, Royce ain't young, Mikal ain't young, Cam ain't young. Ben, to a degree, isn't really that young either. So, like, I'm not here, like, leading this group. Like, we're all in the same type of space in terms of the main, 6 guys that you can name. And even Nick to some degree. I mean, obviously, he's very young age-wise, but he's been in the league now 5 years, so he already has his routine, already has that stuff. Really, who I'd be a leader for is, like, Noah Clowney, like, Derek, Jalen Wilson, who's actually turning 23, and I was like, damn, you're old. He looked at me and said, you're old. I said, bro, you ain't young either. Jesus Christ, my boy. But yeah, nah, like that's it. But yeah, me and where Duds are at 2 different things. Cause yeah, Duds was cooked. I be cooking them, like whatever you need.